Hello makers and welcome back to Make It with Ms. Dobras. Alright, today we are going to learn how to do an origami tetrahedron, and this is called modular origami, which means it's not made out of one piece of paper, but it's made out of 3 pieces of paper that you put together. And the cool thing about making a tetrahedron is once you know how to make a tetrahedron, then you know the exact same fold to make a cube. And if you want to even push yourself and challenge yourself, it's the same fold as an octahedron. This one takes 3 pieces of paper, this one takes 6 pieces of paper, and this one takes 12 pieces of paper. So it's the same fold, you just have to have more paper and more patience. But let's start with this one, okay? So we're going to make a tetrahedron today. You're going to need 3 pieces of square paper. Alright, so I'm working with traditional origami paper today, but as you know, we can always use just any square paper. This is square paper that I made from a piece of rectangular paper, and you can use any size square paper. You can even use little square paper. But if you have origami paper, let's start with that. So you need 3 pieces of paper, and I'm going to show you the fold. You fold it in half, and you match up those corners, and you press it to the middle and you press it out. It's important that you match up those corners, so if you don't do it right the first time, just refold it. Don't throw away your paper. Now we have that center line, and we are going to take this side and fold it to the center line. And now I'm going to do the exact same thing on the other side. I'm going to take this side and fold it to the center line. And I'm going to meet up in the center. So I don't know if you can see that, but they meet up right there. And you don't want them to be overlapping. And if they aren't meeting up right there together, then just refold it. Okay, and then I like to go over my folds so they're nice and flat and nice and clean. That's what I like to say. They're clean folds. Now you open it up. And for this one, you want to make sure that the lines are going horizontally, which means side to side. And you need to find the upper left corner. And if you don't know how to find your left hand, do this, and whichever one has an L shape, that's your left hand. And you're going to take this top corner, and you're going to fold it just down to the first line, the first fold. And now we're going to go diagonal across to the bottom right, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to fold that corner over. And we're folding that line over to the folding line. And once we have those, we're not going to do these corners. We're just going to get 2. And we're going to fold it back together. Okay? And now you see how I'm pressing down on my folds? I always like to go over my folds. Okay? So now we have 2 cutouts. We have those 2 triangle cutouts. Now we're going to take one of the corners that does not have a cutout, and we are going to fold it down to the bottom. We want this edge to have a nice point. So I'm going to check to see if it has a point before I fold it down. And when you fold it down, it should look like that. And now I'm going to rotate it around. I'm going to take the corner that doesn't have the cutout, and I'm going to fold it down to the bottom. And before I press down on my fold, I'm going to check to see if there's a point there, and then I'm going to fold it. And for this fold, we really want to have a point. And so if it's not very pointy, you might want to refold it. And it doesn't matter if there's a little gap right there, if it doesn't reach all the way. And then this is the next fold. We're going to do a tuck fold. We're going to take this corner up, and we're going to open the pocket underneath it, and we're going to tuck that point into it. It's called a tuck fold. And then we're going to rotate it around and do the same thing on this side. We're going to take this point, we're going to open it up, we're going to find the open pocket, and we're going to point that point down and fit it right back in there. Okay? So there we have it. I always like to go over my folds so they're nice and flat. Make sure they're nice and crisp. You know you did it correctly when you have an X in the middle and the other side is just flat. So for our last 2 folds, we're going to take this X and we're going to flip it over to the flat side. And we're going to take this shape and fold it into a square. And how we're going to do that is we're going to take this point down here and we're going to fold it to this corner. And we're going to take this point and fold it to this corner. So watch, I'm going to fold that point up all the way right there. And you kind of have to make it go where you want it to go. And now I'm going to take this point and fold it all the way down. And there we have a square. Do you see how we did that? We folded these two together, and now we have a square. And if you notice the shape, it's two triangles. All right? So we're going to flip it over till we see the X, right? One side has an X and one just has this. So flip it to the X side, and then we're going to fold it in half into a triangle. So you're going to take the X and fold it in half. And this is your last fold. This is the fold to make a tetrahedron. And it looks kind of like a squiggly wiggly or a Z or a lightning bolt. All right, so we have one unit and we need 3 to make this. So I'm going to fold the rest. All right, so here's my second fold. And if you ever need to stop this video and pause it or rewind it and watch it again, if I'm going too fast, that's all you have to do. You just pause it, rewind it, and watch it again. So now we're on to our third piece of paper. All right, we have our 3 folds, our 3 units, and now we're going to try to build a tetrahedron. So what we need to do is we need to take the point and put it in a pocket. So you find the X and you're just going to take that point and slide it into the pocket. You see that? And we're starting to build a little pyramid, but we need each color. So I'm going to take the other color, the green, and I'm going to put that point in the purple. Okay? So already we're seeing this shape. Now, every point needs to go in a pocket. So I have to take this pink one out from underneath, and where I lay it down, that's where it's going to go. So once you find where it needs to go, then you just have to find the pocket. You have to kind of bend it, and you see how there's a hole right there? You kind of push it together. There we go. That's one side of our tetrahedron. So now we're going to flip it over, and we are going to try to put it together. So we're going to first off, try to make the shape that you want. So you're going to fold it. You're going to fold it. So this is what we want to do. See, this isn't attached yet, but that's where we're going to go. This side's all attached, and this side is open. But that's where we want to do it. So we're going to take it apart. Wherever it's laying down, that's where I'm going to find a pocket. So I'm going to put that one in. And let's see. Sometimes you have to unwrap it. It's like a puzzle. You got to try to figure it out. And sometimes you mess up and put it in the wrong place. Every point needs to go into a pocket. And you just kind of slide it in there. Try to get in there as good as you can. And it'll start to come together. All right, so there we have our tetrahedron. Now there's a few things you can do before you're done. You see that little hole in the end? That just means that it's not pushed together all the way. So you can gently kind of push on the corners, and sometimes that can tighten it up. Really, it'll go together the best if your folds are nice. And then one other thing is these edges right here, you can pinch these edges kind of just gently, and you're basically teaching it to stay right there. Once you find where you want it to be, you see how it's kind of rounded there? We're just going to make that a little bit of a crisper line. We're going to press it together by creasing it or pinching it together. And that makes it a little bit sharper lines, but also it'll make sure that your tetrahedron does not fall apart. There we go. All right, you guys, so we have 2 tetrahedrons right here. So make as many tetrahedrons as you can. I really encourage you to try to make them with bigger paper or smaller paper, all kinds of paper, and different colors too. All you need is square paper. And then, once you get really good at this, then you can make an octahedron. This is the same exact fold you use to make an octahedron. This takes 3 pieces of paper. This takes 12. This is a big challenge, And it's a pretty hard challenge, but I know you're up for it. So practice by making tetrahedrons. If you make a lot of tetrahedrons, then you're ready to go for it and try to make an octahedron. Or you can just make tetrahedrons. They're really fun to play with. You can make all kinds of shapes by putting them together. You can make a star shape you can glue these together and make all kinds of neat sculptures. So have fun with it, as usual. Have fun with it. Explore all the ways you can make it. And that's all for now. Stay safe out there and keep on making. Hello, makers, and welcome back to Making with Miss Dobras. All right, here is an origami octahedron. And we've learned how to make a cube, an origami Sonobe cube, and we've learned how to make an origami tetrahedron. And the next step up is the octahedron. And it's the same exact fold. It just takes more units. So the tetrahedron takes 3 units. The cube takes 6 units, or 6 pieces of paper. And the octahedron takes 12 pieces of paper. So you have to be really patient, and you have to be good at folding. But if you have patience and you have time, you can definitely make an origami octahedron. It's called an octahedron because it has 8 points. So there's 8 pyramids on it. I don't know if you can see that pyramid shape, but there's 8 of those if you count them. And these are all from the same geometric family of folds, okay? It's the same fold, it's just how you put it together. All right, let's get to it. Okay, just like with the tetrahedron, we have to do the same fold that we did for the tetrahedron, okay? And then we just take 3 at a time. We need to make 12 of these units. And we put these together in a little pyramid, just like this is the same exact fold we did for this. And if we flip this over and put this side together, we will get a tetrahedron. But in this case, we're going to make an octahedron, so it's a little different. So this is the base unit for the octahedron, and you need to make 4 that look like this, for 4 of these. And each of these has 3 pieces of paper in it. So 3 times 4 is 12. So we're going to use 12 pieces of paper. All right. Watch and learn, my friends. Okay, here we have our 4 units. Of course, each unit is made up of 3 units. So it gets complicated and it gets mathematical, right? So each of these has 3 pieces of paper, and we have 4 of these. So 4 times 3 is 12. We need 12 origami units to make one of these octahedrons. And then this is the fun part. You have to try to fit it together. So each point goes in a pocket. And it doesn't really matter how you start, but you have to start building these little pyramids. And I like to switch the colors up so that there's 3 different colors in each pyramid. But you just start building it out. So here we have 1 pyramid, 2, 3. We already have 3 points on our octahedron. And we're just going to have to build it out. So you can just keep adding. Keep trying to put those points in pockets, and you will find out that it just starts to build itself. And it can fall apart a lot. It can be kind of squiggly and wiggly, but you just keep building it out. All right, look at that. Now, if you see these little holes right here, if you press gently, you can make those holes kind of disappear. Now, this one has been used a few times. You can also press gently on, once you get it where you want, you can just press gently on those edges, and it'll help it give it the shape that you want it, and that'll help it to stay together. So if you have rounded edges, you just kind of pinch it or crease it, and that will help. All right, there we have it. Origami octahedrons. All right, so if you're up for a big challenge, making an origami octahedron is awesome. It's the same fold as the Shinobi cube, and it's the same fold as the tetrahedron. It just takes more units. And these are really fun to make, and I hope you challenge yourself to make one. You can do it. I know you can. Si se puede. Okay, that's all for now, everyone. Stay safe out there and keep on making.